This is one conversation that is unmissable. It is completely unmissable. We don't have the opportunity to speak with our military top brass, particularly about subjects that are not on security and all that kind of stuff, even though this could be related. But once again, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm glad to be here.
So, an event that had been dead for 22 years, probably the
Mm,
biggest sports event in Africa, in African military history. And
very well.
you now go and you resurrect it. What gave you the impetus to even do that? What was your motivation for doing that? And why sport itself? Why did you do that? 22 years after something was dead, and then you go and you do it.
Thank you, sir. For me, I think it's the can-do spirit of a Nigerian. As Nigerians, we always know that we can turn things around once we set our minds on it, and we actually did. We wanted to. It's been a long time since Nigeria actually hosted such a very big event, and we felt it was important that we also bring Nigeria back into limelight. All over the world, Nigerians are doing fantastically well as sportsmen. It's also good to see us also organizing such. And why not the military? Because it's not common. It's unusual to see the military doing this. It's been a long while, like you said, 22 years. So we decided to take it as a task, all of us together as a team. And thankfully, we're able to deliver. We're very, very grateful. And again, once again, thank you for your support. It really made a great difference in hosting of the activity. Everybody was excited seeing you, and so that's it gladdens our hearts very well.
Thank you, General. But did you know that, for 20 years, that MKO Abiola National Stadium had been declared irredeemable? They had done so much effort, so many things had gone into trying to revive that stadium, and they didn't succeed. I actually worked there for 2 years, and I saw what
Oh
was there.
wow!
And then you decided to take on that dangerous project. It was a dangerous project because if it had not worked, our AMGA 2024 would have failed.
Very
How
well,
did
very
you
well.
perform that miracle? We have to take lessons from you. How did you saw that the state of the stadium, and yet you went into it, and within a very short time, you did what was impossible. How did you do
Mm.
it? How did you do it?
Well, like I said, I think it's the can-do spirit of us, all of us as Nigerians. Once we set our minds on doing something, we give it all we have. Um, I deliberately wanted to make sure that this thing took place. And then I had to form a team because like I said, I couldn't have done it alone. I needed a team. So it was easier as the chief of defense staff to be able to gather because I've been in the armed forces. I've served so far over 30 something years. And so I
Wow.
knew the stuff we have. And I was able to build up a team that I knew could deliver. And they were very focused, very determined, knowing that, that was my vision. That's what we wanted to achieve. And so we just set the ball rolling and we're able to get it through.
Hmm. That is, you heard you had the support of the minister of the Federal Capital Territory. Uh,
Yes, very well.
yeah,
Very well.
how did that work out? And
Yeah, yes, we know he is a progressive, someone who actually loves things being done. And then, imagine the accolades this thing will bring to FCT with what he is doing.
hmm,
He's been doing so much trying to transform Abuja to a modern city, trying to enhance the infrastructure within Abuja. And we felt this is part of it for us to contribute also our own quota into ensuring that Abuja is taken to a higher level. And so when we met him, we discussed with him and told him our dreams. And it was just less than 2 months to the time. Uh, Somehow it seemed impossible, actually. But when we put it up to him and told him this is what we intend doing, he became part of it so very well, and said we shouldn't worry. He was going to give us all the support, everything that we needed. We should talk to him, and then he gave us two of his men to be part of our committee, And then together we just rolled out, and then we're able to bring out where and where, and he saw where he could give us the support. He was a single person that actually gave us the highest donation. And that's really galvanized us into doing, because without funding, it would have almost been impossible.
Hmm.
So we thank him. We thank the governors that contributed. We thank the individuals, companies, banks, lovers of the military, even the military personnel contributed. So it was a holistic thing. We had a team that, and the things that because we have a good system, the contributions were well accounted for. They were well utilized with what we had. And then, like I always said, the military is such an organization that is well organized. In the military, we have every aspect of human, uh, you know, management system. So we're able to bring everybody in, and everybody played his role. Within the military, we always conduct conferences, seminars, workshops. So we just brought that as a template, and then placed it on. We have our supply and transport core. That's their specialty, to prepare food, to convey things from one point to another. We had the engineering who that came and worked in. They had the carpenters, the painters, and all this. So we use everything that, all the specialties we had in the military. So it made it a lot easier for us to go.
Hmm.
And, we are always very prudent in using money, very, very prudent. So we made sure that monies spent were worth it. The media was also there with us. We had series of meetings, series of discussions. I sat with them several times to get back updates. Where are the gray areas? What are the challenges? And then we're able to address them.
I am a testimony to all of that because I came, I saw, and you took me over, you won me over completely. I had not had experience of such close relationship with the military until I got to Abuja. And I saw the orderliness, I saw the courteousness, I saw how everything was organized and everybody was nice and friendly to each other and all the salutes. People were saluting me. I was enjoying that one.
No, you deserve it. You deserve it.
But
Dr. Shehu, you are a legend to us. I always want to say this. I remember growing up while in primary school, and then when you used to play the mathematician, then and we watch, and everybody has been exciting. So for me, coming to see that I'm sitting down next to you and all this is really, really mind blowing, and
uh,
I'm really
ge-
very
General, I am the
happy
one that
around.
is honored. I'm the one that is honored. But tell me, what were your expectations before the games? This thing had not held for 22 years, and this
Mm.
is like a new project completely.
Yes.
How well do you think that the games went based on your own expectations before, what happened, and after? How well did the games go in your own estimation?
No, no, I think we did very well. All the committees did well. One thing, like I always said, I don't want to sound as a broken record, but in the military, once you're given a task, you want to accomplish it. And you don't want to be that person that the complaint will come in that your committee did not do well. Nobody wants that. So we have that issue of honor, dignity, ability, form, credibility to protect. And we all know that this is for our country. We wouldn't want to put our country in bad light. We wanted to show the true nature of Nigeria and as Nigerians. And that's where everybody remained focused on it. And that was the goal, to deliver a successful tournament. And so everybody keyed in. And, like you said, I wasn't sitting just in my office. I was always there, going to the stadium to see what's going on, going to each committee, what are the problems. All the committee leaders will come, we'll sit down and discuss. If they had any issues, we talk. And again, I had my classmates that are retired. I brought them in to also help me supervise, and that made a great difference because they are very experienced and they were able to go around to ensure that everything goes. Except when there are issues, they will come, we'll sit down, we'll discuss, get solution, and then they get back.
Hmm. Time was when every sports federation in Nigeria, every single one, had a military representative because we were coming into a military sphere in the 60s
Mm.
and 70s and 80s, and we had a military representative in every sports federation. Now it
Yeah.
appears that we are missing them. There are only few federations that have military personnel there, just the very few. I don't even know if there are
Very
more
few,
than two,
yes, I agree.
more
I
than two
agree.
or three. Nigerian sport is missing military discipline, the order that even when we went to meetings in those days, because we worked with so many military personnel, we went to meetings, you will see that their presence there, their presence alone keeps things in order. And
Yes.
their training instills the essential discipline and, as I said, organization and order. What are your thoughts now about the military and their, being removed, whether they removed themselves or they were removed from the core of Nigerian sports development? Are we thinking that the military can get back in there? And it has to happen
Yes,
if
yes.
the military sustains its own sports programs.
Mm.
So talk to us about this.
I think actually the problem was that I think the military, we also took our eyes off the ball, and that's why gradually we seem to have disappeared from the scene. But again, we still had a lot of military personnel that was still in. I remember the former director of physical training for the army is a FIFA rated referee. We have some federations that we still have military personnel that are still part of it. I remember the former chief of army staff, Jaraminima, was the chairman National Boxing Federation. And then so we had them, but not as much as it used to be. But that's what we want to bring back now. Luckily, I've been a sportsman all through my life. Like you mentioned, I took part in so many events, so many competitions, and I know the spirit, I know the feeling, for sportsmen when you come together and you're able to compete, and especially when you win laurels for your country. I think that's a personal pride, and we just make sure that we planned it in such a way that we'll be proud at the end of it that we'll be able to succeed. Now, going forward, what we intend doing now is those athletes that we have be able to discover, they'll go back to their individual services, because we know the armed forces has the army, the navy, and the air force. They have their own physical training course. That's their own specialty, what they do. So we're going to pull them on together and then give the opportunity to start commence training. Again, because we're dealing with a lot as members of the armed forces. Gradually, so many of them have been out in the field, and that's why I think we should have won more medals. But because the body has been accustomed to being fighting out in the bushes, so they didn't really fine tune themselves so much. But we're bringing that back now. The corps are going to be working, and then we're going to work closely with the federations. Anywhere there is any competition, we're going to get them across to go and join up. And this is part of the non-kinetic effort. Again, bringing ourselves back into civil life and then interacting as part of the civil-military relationship that we want to foster. We don't want Nigerians to look at the military as if them against us. No, we want to ensure that they realize that, look, the military men are equally Nigerians. We are not from outer space. And so we are part of it. And because of the discipline, like you mentioned, anything we set our minds or anything we want to give it the best shot we have. And that's what keeps us. We remain very, very focused in everything that we do. And to us, time is of essence. So anytime we have to go for a committee, a meeting or something, time. We want to deliver, achieve, because we want to go and do other stuff.
Well, fantastic. As you were speaking, I was just reminiscing. And one thing I took away from AMGA 2024 is that we did not do so well in our traditional sports, like football, for example. We didn't do excellently. Like athletic sprints and jumps and hurdles in athletics, we didn't do so well. Even your own sport, you will tell us a little about that. Basketball and volleyball, we were not tops, even though we were overall winners. But in some traditional sports that we should have been doing so well, I'm sure that must have bothered you a little.
No, very well. It does, and that is why we need to also go back and fine tune those aspects. Well, yes, just yesterday we had a debrief, sort of what we call a workshop. And normally after every event, we sit down, and then all the committees will come and report for their reports, what are their observations, and then we have independent observers that we also set him that we're also watching what the committees were doing. And so at the end of it, when they brought out their challenges and all this, these independent observers were able to bring out, and it was truthful. We said it as it was. Those that did well, those that didn't well, and then they need to improve. We are collating the whole thing now to make it a report. What we normally do is that we do that, write it up so that we distribute and keep it. Next time we have another event, before then the committees will now go back through and look at this. Yes, this was what happened. What were the challenges? How did they address them? What did they need to do differently? So when we do that, it helps future committees not to also repeat the same mistakes that were made. And for the athletes now, like I said, we're going to open them up to competition. I think that's for a long time. That's what we have not been doing. Before we started this competition, we had the inter-service where the three services competed among themselves, and from there we picked the best we had, then took them into camp. They've been in camp for about 4 or 5 weeks, and from the camp straight to the competition. So that's why you see that the number of medals we're able to have. We will have, like I said, we'll have achieved more. Our traditional sports football, yes, it was still the same thing. I wanted them to have more time to train together, but I can guarantee you that next time we have other sporting events, we're going to do better.
We had some great players. I saw one of the matches, the football matches, and I must commend the military because you had fantastic players, truly fantastic players, very good, strong, physically fit, technically sound, except for the pitch. The pitch affected them. But that was very good. We must commend you. So, as I was preparing for this show, and I did a promo and all of that, people were disturbing me. People who knew you, one. Some said you went to school together in Sokoto. One said you were mates. You went to federal government. He went to so technical college. One Alhaji Jega something. And then there was, the people like Alex Mana, and so many people were disturbing me. Even your coach in Ahmadu Bello University, O.B. Johnson. So tell us a little about your own sports, the sports you participated in and what just a little, just to whet our appetite.
Yes. I mean, starting from primary school, like I was born in Sokoto. I grew up in Sokoto, did everything in Sokoto. My primary school, my secondary school was in Sokoto. It was when I was going to Nigerian Defense Academy in 1986 that I left Sokoto fully. That was the first time I had to leave to Kaduna to start the Nigerian Defense Academy. All through my primary schools, well, for primary school, I was basically a footballer. We played football, and we took it, that really engaged us in playing against primary schools all over Sokoto and everything. Then when I got to Federal Government College Sokoto, I now realized that, look, I could do other things. So for my house there, I played, I played hockey, volleyball, basketball, football, so many other events. And because we had a number of inter-house sports, and that was very, very competitive. So that really, boosted my mindset towards sports. And by the time I finished, I came in. When we finished, I finished my secondary school in 1985. I was moved to Ife through JAM when I got to Zaria, and then from there I sat for the Nigerian Defense Academy exam, and then I passed. So I left Ife and then went straight to NDA. At NDA too, because the competitions at NDA were fantastic, because you are dealing with people who are operating at a very high tempo because of the physical nature of our exercises, our trainings. You just have to be very fit. So our interhouse, we had what we call battalions, but they're like houses. 4 of them, and because at the end of the year they're going to crown one to be the champion, and so it's a pride for your house to be. So our competitions were really, really very competitive. And at the same thing, I played all these other events at those areas. My secondary school, like I mentioned, I represented Sokoto in National Kada 83 and then Kwara 85. I was there for those other events. At NDA, again, we had competitions here and there. And that really, really, so for me, sports is also part of me. And I came in now, I started playing golf. Though I hardly have time now, but once I have time, I also take part in sports. So wherever I see sports, I know what it has done to me. It's something I always love. It unites people. It gives you the ability to understand what it is to take defeat. For people to understand that failure is part of life. It is what you do when you fail that makes the difference. So our youth, which is very important now for our youth to understand, because now you find out that youth having a lot of stress because of social media. He doesn't have enough likes. They do crazy things on social media just for people to like them. We said, no, in sports, It is for your performance that pays for you, and which means you have to be disciplined. You have to understand that it is not only you, the world doesn't revolve around you alone. You have to share it with others. You have to compete against others. And for you to have that sportsmanship spirit of loving each other, even when you fail. And then when you get injured or so, you still have to nurture yourself and get back into shape. So that discipline is what makes a great difference for. And that's what I like. And that's what also the military projects. If you remember that during military regime, sport was top because we had
Absolutely.
primary school sports, we had secondary school, we had universities all together, and they were well attended because those are things that we take very, very dear. So we want to appeal because now that we're facing a lot of challenges, I feel it is important that we restore these things back because these things are not done properly, are not done as usual, as regular as possible. Youths don't have much way of expending their energies other than having phones and using social media. So they are sitting there and gisting with people 10,000 kilometers away from them. You don't know what they are doing to their mindset. But if they have sports in competition, because we are talented, Nigerians are blessed, both educationally, sports-wise, entertainment, music, you see it. So we want to now look at, my intention now is to have specialist recruitment for all the services.
Wow.
Let's look for these sportsmen that are talented but don't have platforms. We'll provide the platform for them to come and show up what they have for Nigeria and eventually build their capacity so that they'll be able to compete at the highest level and, if possible, represent Nigeria. We are targeting the next Olympics. I want to have Nigerian Armed Forces sportsmen representing Nigeria in the next Olympics.
Wow. I'm applauding. I'm applauding. Look, General, look, I have conversations with so many people in sports generally every week. I've been doing this for decades. But I tell you, having this conversation with you is most refreshing. And when we spoke in Abuja, I heard aspects of our discussion that I'd never heard anybody in your capacity speak of. For example, you know, sports has become a soft power tool, and
Yes, yes.
it is a deliberate sports power tool. And I heard you talk about using it, you know, for even crisis resolution, peace amongst,
Very well. Very
and
well.
so on and so on.
Yes,
So
yes.
just take us into that world a little.
Yeah, like you said, it's part of the soft power that if you travel wide, when you travel across Nigeria, you see people. When you go there, when you say Nigeria, they say Jejo Okocha, Kanu Wanko. They mention these names. I remember back then growing up, you hear Shegun Odegbami, and all this, Mudalawa, great names, and it excites you, makes you feel well. I've tell you, sometimes you go to some areas, once you mention those names, you get free tickets. That shows you the power of sports. And I think that's what that is missing. We need to take advantage of that. Now we have a lot of Nigerian sportsmen. Is it NBA? Is it La Liga? Is it EPL? All. So it is for us to harness these things together and be able to take advantage and then use them properly so that we can project Nigeria, because it's important. Very few individuals are giving us bad names because everybody talking about 419, about Yahoo, and all this nonsense. But we have more people doing good, but we're not projecting them. So I think if we start projecting all these people doing good, it will knock down all this bad image about Nigeria. I think that's very, very critical that we need to do. And because we have a large number of talents there, we should be able to provide these avenues for them to showcase themselves. It's a way of employment, it's a way for tourism, it's a way of meeting each other, because communication is critical. Understanding yourselves is very, very important. One of the reasons why we did this is because we wanted the militaries to know. And you're sure, remember we have, and people will have thought these countries that left ECOWAS wouldn't attend. Mali, Burkina Faso were there. Libya, remember we had some issues with them because of the football. People thought they wouldn't be here, but they were here at live and direct. And they were so happy they were here. And Niger was almost coming. I think they had some little administrative issues, and that's why they couldn't make it. And so many other countries. So, but we're hopeful that if we continue together, it continues to bond us, because the challenges we're facing in the world is not only peculiar to Nigeria. It's all over the world. So people should learn to understand that we have a great country, but it makes us working together as a team, taking ownership of the challenges we're having to make Nigeria greater.
Fantastic. Look, I have been to some of your facilities. I was in one
Mm.
place in Lagos, in Shasha in Lagos. It's an Air
Yeah,
Force base. I went there.
Air Force Base. Yes.
Yes, I was looking for something, and then I
Mm.
found facilities in Shasha. Shasha is near the airport, the one local
Yes.
environment.
Yes. Yes.
But
Mm.
the sports
Mhm.
facilities in Shasha are amazing.
Yeah.
I went to Ikeja and I saw the
Mm.
facilities in the Air Force base also and in the Army base there.
Yes.
Those
Yes.
facilities are amazing with a little bit of support by corporate Nigeria.
Mm.
I believe those facilities can serve the country perfectly.
Very well.
But we
Very
have
well.
this
Very well.
notion, this fear about
Mm.
going into military institutions and so on and so forth. But tell us, are you canvassing for corporate support for?
No, very well, very well. We
Okay.
can't do it. Like we're, funding is not. We don't have enough funds, so we need corporate support to be able to do well. And because, like I said, we're very prudent in what we do.
Mm.
Whatever thing we need to buy, we want to make sure that we get the best at the best price. So, like I said, there's this thing about honor. Being a military man, you wouldn't want anywhere to go that somebody will point a finger and say, "Look, you cheated the military, or you did something, you were dishonest." Nobody wants that. And so that's why you see that we're always concentrating. And because we know we don't have enough funds, so when we get money, we make sure that we use it to the best ability. And unfortunately, we didn't have time to go around Abuja together. Well, I show you, the army is building a mini stadium at Gili, opposite the University of Abuja. We have here at the Guards Brigade a mini stadium where schools normally come to do their inter-house competitions and all these things. We have them all over, and well maintained. So we want to do more. And so we believe if we get more, we can do so much. And like talking about the infrastructure, like you mentioned, the way the stadium was. And you see, it took us so little to be able to turn it around, which means if we maintain, we need to develop a facility management system that will be able to take care of our infrastructure. You look at the National Stadium in Lagos, the one in Abuja. You remember we're discussing and said that, I mean, is it possible to build such an edifice now
For
with
where?
all the
For where?
it's really really massive and well constructed.
Mm.
So we can't allow such things to just go down. We must be able to bring them. I am happy the vice president spoke highly. We discussed on that, and he saw the need. He said yes, it's important for us to get a good management system that will manage the stadium, so that let's remain. It's one of our pride. It's something that we must keep, very well. And let me just also mention that actually that particular day, the vice president had a number of activities. He traveled wide. We really appreciate him for taking time out to come. So he couldn't really, he had to fly in from he had about 2 or 3 occasions to attend, and then before coming there. So that really affected the timing. But we really appreciate him for coming. But most especially appreciating the Mr. President for giving us for approving for us to conduct the tournament. And I
Yes.
think that's really when, and I'm sure he's very proud because he saw the result, he watched the events, and he's really very proud of his armed forces.
Fantastic. In fact, that should just take us to the issue of our national security. This is a sports program, but I'm sure
Mm,
that as he said, there are so many issues, border
mm,
crossings, insurgency, and all kinds of things, and yet we brought in sports to dampen all the burden and
yeah.
pressures on our heads and so on.
Mm,
What is the
mm.
state of national security these days?
Yes. For us, like I said, the challenges we're facing in Nigeria is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. Sometimes we tend to make it look as if it is bad. If you look at the statistics of most countries, the number of killings, the number of kidnapping, the number it outweighs what Nigeria is. But they don't portray their countries like that. Unfortunately, we tend to make it look as if ours is the worst ever. Yes, it is bad, but it's getting better. I'm sure from uh, last 2 years to what is happening now, nobody will have thought this would have been possible. But they came in, people came from all over. Some came with that skepticism that, look, Nigeria is said to be dangerous. But they came in, at night they came out, went around the city, and they were very happy with the way things were going. And so it has really put Nigeria back into the limelight. First, to cancel that mindset that Nigeria was dangerous. Nigeria is, criminals and hoodlums and Yahoo and whatever. People saw a different Nigeria. It was clean. It was well organized. You could move in freely. Nobody was harassing you or anything. So the security situation is going on. We have the troops also looking at, and I can tell you, because we did well, because of the way it was organized, our troops are equally pushing further. Because now they feel that, look, these guys have shown that we're good guys. We mean well. We are determined. We're professionals, and we want Nigerians to come together to understand with us. And we saw, we get a lot of accolades after this competition, during and after. People calling and say, look, thank you for doing that. We didn't know you could do this. We thought it was impossible. How could the military have done this on their own and all this and all this? But now it is giving people a different mindset. You can hear from Mr. Onasanya and so many others. We want to remove that toga of us against them. We want Nigerians to take the armed forces as part of them, because we're not from Jupiter or Mars. We're Nigerian. We recruit from Nigeria. So, and in the military, we represent every part of Nigeria. There is no tribe, no religion, no region that is not represented fully as a country. So we grew up with that kind of mindset, and that makes it a lot easier for us to trust each other, to work together with honesty and sense of sincerity. The system, the way the military is so structured, that you could do is like appendages all working towards one goal, bringing peace. So all we're doing is that as we're doing this, it does not affect what the troops are doing out there in the field. In fact, our performance had really boosted their morale. And morale is what drives them to do more. And that has really been done that. Apart from the tourism aspect, no, I think it has done well. It has not affected our operations. It has boosted the mindset of our troops. They are doing what they too want to achieve. In fact, to them, some of them come and say, sir, people want gold medal during the sport. We too want to deal with the enemies, and so that we can also win gold medals. To prepare them to represent Nigeria in all aspects. And we have, especially for the wrestlers, we have some of them that have won African medals in the African Games and have participated in so many other activities. Yes, it's something that we want to continue to encourage, so that we can also add up. And because of their discipline and their will to perform, to win, I think it will make a little, and it will also urge other ones to up their game.
General, okay, now that
Yes.
our games have ended, I'm sure all of us have taken useful lessons from them. And for me, when I was speaking with the new chairman of the National Sports Commission, I told him that I realized, I knew before, but I didn't think how important it was, the location of our national stadium in Abuja. The lack of transportation, easy transportation, accessibility to the stadium has not made, patrons out of the citizens of Abuja to the national stadium environment, which is a beautiful place. The stadium is beautiful, the environment is first class, and it could be a major tourist destination. I pointed out that to him, and I was asking him what he would do and so on and so forth. I'm sure there are so many other lessons that we can take away from the games. Which ones strike you particularly that Nigerians should know about? What lessons, what did you find out about the stadium, the games themselves, sports, from organizing the games that we can take lessons from?
Yes, I think first and foremost is that for us is to understand that if we make up our mind, we plan properly, we prepare well, we execute well. It's about commitment. We must be committed in whatever it is that we're doing. And we want to be committed positively to ensure that we achieve success. I think that's number one thing. Once you set up your mind in achieving that, it makes it a lot easier. So everybody, and then get the right team. If you get the right team, you remain focused. Don't drift. It's very, very critical, very important. And then you must bring everybody on board. We had the federation. We didn't do it alone. Right from the start, they were with us. We had members of the media with us. We had other, that came together. We had discussions. This is what we intend to do. How do you want to go about it? What do you need from us? So we had to do, and we had several meetings together. Yes, you mentioned the issue of having spectators in the field. That's a challenge, because I'm happy that the city minister, even before now, has taken up that aspect of bringing a mass bus system. I think we need to have a system within all our cities that you have movement, mass movement and it should go around. if most people wanted to come, but they were always thinking that if they come, how are they going to go back? Though we made some buses available too. And now that CNG is around, Mr. President is this renewed part of his renewed hope. The FCT minister has brought in some buses with CNG. We equally have brought in some buses that we used. But I think we need to do more so that our rail system should make sure that all these places where we have such infrastructure like the stadium, we channel them in such a way that there will be that constant movement within those areas. So it makes movement easy. Those are the things we do. Issues of funding again is one aspect that the funds, whatever funds are realized, should be utilized properly. I think those things helped us quite well. But like the important thing is that we're able to carry everybody along, and that made a lot of difference.
Fantastic. Well, I've been having a conversation with the Chief of Defense Staff of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and it's been truly enlightening. It's been entertaining. It's been informative. I was there live in Abuja. I saw it all. I'm still in amazement as to the things that happened, the experience that that I went through, and it's an eye-opener for me. So as we start rounding off today's show, sir, just your final message to Nigerians, particularly the youths of Nigeria. Your final message. We had an opportunity to listen to you at the closing ceremony of the games, and you actually captured it properly. But now we have another opportunity for you to speak to the youths of Nigeria generally. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. To the youths, I just want to tell them, look, remain focused. Love your country. Nobody else is going to make your country better without yourself. I mean, we have more youths now in the country than elderly people. So it is important for them to know that they are the future leaders. They must imbibe that spirit of sacrifice, dedication, commitment to their country. We must love our country to make it better. Most times, if you don't travel out, you will not know how great Nigeria is until when you leave. Then you understand that, look, we are sitting here in a great country, and yet we are the ones also making the country look bad. When I hear people sitting down and just talking bad, taking ills about the country, I shudder that, because I tell them, look, you don't know what you are doing. And words have power. If you speak evil against yourself, then if the country goes down, they should always remember they will not have any country. You see a lot of Nigerians when they go abroad, and then Nigeria, they gave you the platform to be who you are. You get there and then you turn around and say that country is not good. I think there's something wrong. Let us understand that, yes, we have challenges. There's no country without challenges. We run to America and all these things, the number of shootings and all these things that happen there. There are a lot of bad things that happen everywhere. It's part of life, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So it is only when we love our country we can make that difference. So that's why it's important. And then for them that are talented, should go all out and make sure that they prepare well so that they can represent. And then they are lucky nowadays. Dr. Shegun, remember during your own time, what monies did you guys make with all the sacrifice? You guys gave in everything. But what did you have? Look at nowadays. Look at the amount of money, the lifestyle most sportsmen live. So it's important for them to know that besides education, they can do this and is gainfully employed, and they'll be able to make a difference. But most importantly, let us love Nigeria. Nigeria is a great country. We are talented. We are blessed. We must unite to make that work.
Fantastic. Next stop is Algeria for AMGA Games. When is it? And when are we going to start preparing and so on? What is it about the future of AMGA, finally?
Hopefully, it's supposed to be 3 years. So I'm sure they've, the North Africa. I'm sure you saw the North Africa. You saw how competitive they were.
Yes, so
because they prepared well. They had time. You see, their teams were wonderful.
Yes.
They were committed. I always watch them when they recite their national anthem. You will see when they sing with that passion.
Yes.
That is what Nigerians used to be used. We used to know Nigerians for that belief. Yes, we have, like I always want to go back, that we have challenges, but I can tell you Nigeria is a great country. We just continue to support ourselves, continue to unite, continue to work together, and then we'll get it right. So next 3 years, hopefully, we'll prepare fully for the next games, Algeria or any other place, wherever they want to. And then, we're the champions now. So we have to be better so that we can defend it. So that if we go to another country and we lose, they will say, no, it was an IRG. And we didn't want to give that impression. And the good thing I wanted is that right from the start, I told all the officials, I don't want anything. I want us to remain impartial. Let the games go. Let them play. If we win, we win. If we don't win, then we're not good. And that's how it came. That's why there was zero complaints from any contingent. Nobody complained about that they were cheated or whatever. No, it went smoothly. And I think for me, that's something that I really am very happy about.
On behalf of all of us here at Eagle 7 Sports Radio, on behalf of all Nigerians, we want to thank you for the great work that the military are doing in Nigeria to safeguard us, to protect us, and now even to entertain us and to to provide for us the opportunities for well-being, because that's what you have just done. So we salute you. We congratulate you.
Thank you for this platform. Really, very happy.
We greet you. You are looking very young, and you are making references that when you are making me look like an old man. I'm a young man. You and I should go and play tennis one of these days.
Yes, very well. Very well. I always remember that goal you scored during one of the Nations Cup where you took that goal and then you hit the bar and dropped, and that music always resonates in my mind. It is a goal. I always remember that.
You see, for knowing that song,
yes.
You are an old man too. You are an old man too. General,
thank you very much. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you. I appreciate you for what you do to our country.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. It's been
God bless you, sir.
It's been almost 90 minutes. It's been almost 90 minutes with the Chief of Defense Staff of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, General Christopher Gwabin Musa OFR. Thank you for being on this show tonight. Thank you for joining us. Join me again next week, Saturday, when I bring you another wonderful program, hopefully. And until then, it's bye from us here. Bye-bye.